Hey y'all, it's TxStampin Sharon. Welcome to my lab. It is Thursday, October the 21st. It is 7 o'clock p.m. Central. If you're watching the replay, I sure hope you enjoy this. I have been working for a long time. I've had this dream for like 5 years to do what I'm about to do tonight. So I hope it goes the way I have it all in my head. You know, some things you're just like, well, I think I'm ready. I think I know what I'm doing. But no matter what, I know we're gonna have fun. I've enjoyed chatting with some of you who jumped on the chat box before the live started. And so I always love to do that. What was it, a week or so ago? Last week, it was last week, I had a premiere and I got to chat with some of you for part of it. I was at my granddaughter's football game, so I didn't get to chat the whole time. But I just loved the chatting. I love to hear how y'all are doing. Several of you have bad weather all over the country. We've heard about tornadoes and sirens going off and all of that. So I just hope that everybody is safe. But I have so much to share with y'all tonight. And I don't know if I'll be done in an hour. So grab a beverage, get a snack. This could be like going to the movies. Oh, y'all are seeing my hair. My hair is different. I decided to try to go back more natural because it had gotten so sun bleached out at the beach. So yeah, there you go. Okay, y'all are loving my hair. So this is more natural with some highlights. So anyway, it looks more fallish and winterish to me, but I told her to do it. So here we go. You know, sometimes we just need a change. Tonight's techniques, let's talk about those. You know, techniques are something that you can use making cards, in your scrapbooks. Heck, some of these you could probably even put like on a 3D project. And I have been collecting techniques. I have like 75 or 80 of them. So this series could last a while. I will be doing this once a month. It was a lot of work getting it all ready, not just the stamping part, but writing the tutorials. I have 10 PDF tutorials, and let me just tell you, I think you're gonna love them. I just do. I love them. I think they're pretty, and I'm gonna flip the camera in just a moment, and I'm gonna show them to you. But I do want to introduce my friend, Michelle Batson. As you're looking in the chat box, Michelle has a blue wrench by her name. Michelle is my friend who helps me during these labs. I could not do this without her. We are a good pair. We make a good partnership. And so, excuse me, I'm always grateful that she is here. So she pretty much knows what I'm doing. However, if you ask her a question and she doesn't know, Michelle will save it towards the end when I have a chance to look at the laptop and then perhaps answer your question, okay? I have 10 techniques to share with you, so I have a lot to share. So anyway, okay, I am seeing almost 200 people so far. Mary says she has saved this and shared. Thank you, Mary, I appreciate that. Yeah, Nora says, happy to watch you do your magic. You know, share this with your crafty friends. You know, we all have stamping friends. And you know, techniques have been around forever. There's some crazy ones out there. I remember some of them we did with Eagle Brand condensed milk. That was a good one. But you know, using household items around the house with your craft projects is something that's been going on for years. So when you want to learn a new technique, you have to go Google it or try to remember, you know, you saw it, how did she do it? My dream, my concept is for you to have a reference. You could flip through and look at and go, oh yeah, there's that blah, blah, blah technique. That's what I want to do with this card. I want to make it easy for you. I'll do all the hard work. I did a lot of hard work getting ready for this, but I was so excited to do it. I mean, I literally woke up at 4:30 this morning going, is it time? Is it time? Because this is just something that I have wanted to do. I hope that you love it as much as I do. I hope that it is helpful. I want it to be helpful to you. So, okay, let's see. All right. I am going to switch cameras because like I said, I have a lot to talk about. Okay, first, before I forget, those of you who have participated in Cards for Kids, we are launching it again. It started on Monday, October the 18th. We have an instruction list. Now these are happy cards for kiddos who need uplifting messages. No get well cards, no nothing religious. These are just way to go, you're a great kid, those kind of cards. So this PDF resides in my Facebook group for my stampers and my mystery stampers. I will put this PDF on my blog. You will be able to find it on my blog under tutorials. So you're going to click shop and then it will be under tutorials. So if you don't know where my blog is, there's my blog. So you're going to click shop and you're going to click tutorials. Don't click now. It's not there. It's not live yet, but it will be. Everything tonight is going to go live on my blog at 8:30 p.m. Central because I just did not see how I could have it launch at 8 with everything I have to share. So, okay. Last thing, last call for, whoops, wrong button. Welcome to the show, guys. The Creative 8 Fall Retreat is this Saturday. Tomorrow night, Friday night, will be a Meet the Team Facebook time that you can get to know myself more, Brandy Cox, Jackie Bullheis, and Connie Stewart. We're the ones putting on this retreat. It is $45. You can live anywhere in the world and attend this. If you go to my blog, you can join and register there. It does go through PayPal. If you don't have a PayPal account, you can use your credit card. It is a full day of stamping and inspiration. You know, we love to inspire. I love to inspire. The Creative 8 team loves to inspire. And so that's what happens at the retreat. It is all day long. There'll be 10 different ideas for you plus additional ideas. So, all right, my technique book idea, I'm gonna move this up just a little bit if I can. Well, I'll just start right here. My technique book idea was to use the Memories and More. And this is a book that I actually started about 5 years ago when I lived in Arizona. And it does use the refill pages that you can purchase. When you buy the album, it's empty. It doesn't have any sheets in it. It doesn't have these in there. So the photo pockets are a separate purchase, but you can purchase those and use this for your technique book. Or if you don't want to do that, you can easily put the technique sheets in a 3-ring binder, okay? But I just want to show you what my binder looks like. So here's my index. And then I have pockets for all of my samples, okay? So here's the instructions. Here's the supplies that I use to make my cards. Now, as I go through this, you'll start seeing all of my techniques that I'm going to go through tonight. Some of the pages have 4 up. Okay, do y'all see that? In this case, when you cut apart my sheet, you may not have something on this side. I will show you what I think you should have on this side. So as you go through, here's all my techniques. So let's say you start playing with my techniques, and this was an old one I did, and then I had a little sample. You can start putting those 3x4 samples in these pages to remind yourself you played with this technique, but yours turned out different, and you tried different ways to play with it. Okay, now on all of them, I have Sharon's card. My desire, my dream for you is to try these techniques and slip your own sample in that pocket, because that, by actually trying the techniques, you are learning, and you're going to watch me do it tonight, but then doing it, you're going to learn it even more if it's not a technique you already know. So that's the design. You can keep my photo if you want, but I want you to play with it and put your photo of your card, or like this one, you could just put a sample of the technique. You don't even have to put the whole card. Now here, I put the whole card, and I did it on this one too. These are some old ones that I did. So that is, that's kind of an explanation of the sheets. When you buy the pages, there is one that is solid, and that's what your index page will be, okay? All right, let's see. Where can we get a binder like that, Deb Warner is asking. You can find these on my website, let's see, SharonArmstrong.StampinUp. That is, don't look at that host code. That was last year's host code. Need to fix that screen. You can purchase those on my website. Search for album and you'll see this, or search Memories and More and you'll see the album and the refill pages. So my Stamping Techniques idea, 10 techniques PDF free with a $50 order before October 31st. I started off this this class saying, I've put a lot of time and work into these PDFs, and when you see them in a minute, you're going to understand. You must use the host code. This is my website. If you are a demonstrator or you live in another country, you can purchase the tutorials starting at 8:30 tonight. They're not live yet because my blog's not live. You would go to www.TxStampin.com shop, okay? All right, let's look at my tutorials. Look how pretty. So tonight's video, the link is right here. Here is the instructions, kind of a welcome thing. And then I encourage you to try these techniques, and then you can put your photo there. When you have finished your technique test, you're playing around, put the photo there, put your photo there instead of mine in the sample pocket. And it will tell you it needs to be 3 inches by 4 inches. Formatting these forms was so much fun, so much fun. You will get the index of the techniques, and I'm calling this volume 1 because I told y'all I have like 70, 80 techniques that I could do. And so then here's the first one. It is bleach technique. So this is the one that we're gonna start with. Taking household bleach and making a gorgeous card. All right. Let's do this. Let me clean up all this, move this out of the way, because I'm going to need all the space I can get. Okay, first we need to make a stamp pad. The stamp pad is 8 layers of paper towel. So it's those half sheets, and I've folded it in half, and I have 4 of them here to give me 8. You need at least 8. You need fresh bleach. Don't open it up and let it sit out. I literally poured this right before we went live. As I was chatting, I went over and I poured it, so it is fresh. And I'm just going to soak it a little bit. Now my team has been doing these techniques. We just started this at our team meeting, and they loved it. And it was so fun to hear them talking about it and giving me, asking questions and all of that. And I really want to look. I'm looking at the laptop to see if y'all have any questions. I chose Prize Peony, and I realized that I have not used that big stamp. I've used all the other ones in here. I've used the dies, but I hadn't used the big one. This big one was perfect. So I'm basically, this is bleach stamping, okay? I'm basically inking it up, and then I'm going to leave it there. I want that bleach to get into my cardstock. I want it to absorb. Now, what's so fun is it's almost like the old Polaroid camera photos, because, let me pick it up. You can see it. but you're going to see it better in just a few minutes after that dries, okay? So let's try another color. I actually pulled out some of the in colors because I haven't done this on those. The Stampin' Up! Cardstock is colored all the way through, and depending on the dye in the cardstock will depend on what color the bleach turns, or what color the flower is with the bleach interacting with the color of cardstock. Okay, now look at this one. This one has a blue tint to it. Okay, all right, we're gonna set that aside. Let's try a few more. Let's try Shaded Spruce. Now, if your Cheryl Ann is asking if I can use this with the photopolymer stamps. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now, this is bleach, and especially with the photopolymer, please make sure that you clean your stamps really well. Like, I have a bowl that this stamp is going to be washed in because I'm actually going to use it again on the next technique, but I need this to really be immersed in water to get it all off. Okay, so this is a little bit of yellow to it, okay? All right, so I'm gonna show you some other colors that I did on my team meeting. Here's real red. Look how yellow that is, okay? Wow, Debbie's already learned something already. That's awesome. How about magenta? Marvelous magenta. Okay, just very subtle. How about Gorgeous Grape? Isn't it funny how the colors all look different depending on the cardstock? Let's move that over. Let's bring in some of the ones that we've done. There's our Misty Moonlight. Here is our Coastal Cabana. Here's our Shaded Spruce. So it's almost like having different colors of ink pads. Okay, so black. Let's talk about black. Black turned beige. And then when I had my team meeting, we traced it with Wink of Stella. Look how pretty that is. Very subtle on the black, but very cool. How about Petal Pink? Very white, okay? All right, let me show you my finished card. Oh yeah, don't spill the bleach. Here is my card, and I love it. That is Poppy Parade in the background for my cardstock. But just by stamping that one time and then just matting it. Now, I'm not making cards tonight. You have all the measurements on the PDFs for my cards. So I'm not putting cards together. There was no way I could do 10 techniques and put cards together, okay? So that is the bleaching technique with household bleach. Okay. We're gonna set this aside and we're going to get our stamp cleaned. So especially if you're using photopolymer, you definitely want to get that stamp cleaned right away. Okay. For our next card, I am using the fluid watercolor paper, okay? That is by Stampin' Up. I have a piece cut, and I chose this stamp set because I love the beach, but you could use, see, and the thing is with all these techniques, guys, you can use them with any stamp set. You don't have to have this stamp set, okay? Now, I have been on a technique kick lately, so you may have already seen this. If Denise in Dallas is on here, I know she has seen it. you can take any acrylic block, okay? And I'm just going to ink this up. And again, even if some of these techniques are not new to you, the whole concept that I was trying to come up with is a reference for you to save you time. Okay, so now I'm going to take and I'm just going to ink up a part of that stamp. So I have two colors. You see that? And now I need my spritzer. And I used all my paper towels for my bleaching, so I had to grab some more. You do want to protect your surface because I'm going to spritz this, and when I spritz it, that ink could go around on your surrounding area, so you don't want to get it on your cardstock or anything, or your desk. So I'm getting that pretty wet. Let's see. Let me show this. Says she uses baby wipes, but I'm anal and I do the soap and water. Yeah, I do soap and water. You know, baby wipes are okay, but over time, some of those baby wipes have lanolin in them. That's hard to say. And it can cause a buildup on your stamps. All right. Here's the key to this one. You have to leave it for 5 minutes on the paper. There is a thing, okay? I'm looking at my watch. 5 minutes. This needs to stay on here so that, and I'm just pushing it down to make sure that my ink kind of goes everywhere I want it. I'm gonna turn this just a little bit. You can kind of see it moving under the clear block. So this is acrylic watercoloring with an acrylic block. I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to talk to you about my card. So here is my card, and I do have some waves in my cardstock. The cardstock is getting wet, okay? If that bothers you, I could have used like tear and tape. I did use liquid glue, but when you apply this layer, try to use your hand and run it that way as you place the layer down, and you won't have, and I only have 2 right here, and I don't know why, but to avoid that, if this paper is really warped when you're done, when it's dry, heat it up with your heat gun and put some heavy books on it or heavy clear blocks on it, something to keep that more flat, okay? So that's, I wanted to point that out to you. I did emboss my fish after this layer is dry. I mean, heat it with a heat gun, play with it the next day, but don't try to stamp on that cardstock when it's wet. You need to let it be completely dry. So I did use Versamark ink, Versamark ink and copper emboss powder, and it just says, I'm here for you always. So just a sweet little card, but letting that acrylic block do the background work for you, and it's so super easy. So let's see, I'm seeing, what is this technique called again? This technique is acrylic watercolored background. You can use any size block. You know, you could pick up the great big ones that we have, do the same thing. You could pick up the skinny ones, do the same thing. You can also do, you can try using water-based markers and do the same thing. It will be a lighter color than what the ink pads do, okay? I'm just watching, checking my clock, checking the watch. I'm gonna grab this and have this ready, just in case. Okay, we're gonna come back to that one because I really want it to be 5 minutes. I use Celebrate Sunflowers, soft suede ink pad, and this is such a fun technique. If you haven't done this one, oh my gosh. Let me get my cardstock. So I just have a piece of basic white cardstock. Do y'all ever get bubble wrap in your packages? Now, I prefer to use a small piece. You may go crazy and cut a piece that's as big as your cardstock layer, but I prefer a smaller piece that I can manage better. I'm actually gonna turn this. Y'all ready for this? I'm stamping with bubble wrap. Look at that. Look how fun. I realized that on my card, I think I used crumb cake and I picked up soft suede, but it's all good. It doesn't matter. So we're gonna do it again. So I have a long enough piece that I can hold on to it and then place it down. Let's see what y'all are saying about this. I was there live when you did this watercolor technique one night. Just awesome. Loved, but I couldn't do it at the time. I hardly had any stamp sets as I'm not at home. Oh, okay, Heidi, I get you. Well, you know, just remember that I did it again. It's a great technique. Let's just check our watch here. How are we doing for our acrylic block? So this is the bubble wrap technique. You can wash that off and use it again. I didn't pop any of the bubbles, just saying. Okay. Covered my whole background. Now let me show you my card. I did use crumb cake here instead of soft suede, but it's the same thing. It gave me a very fun background. When I stamped my small sunflower, and then I stamped a small sunflower on scrap paper, and I die cut it. Can y'all see that? I die cut it out, and then I just cut the flower in half and put half of it here and half of it there. I thought that was just so cute because the sentiment says thanks a bunch. I needed more than just one flower. So there's that card. Oh, techniques can be messy. Y'all know that I do use hand sanitizer to clean up those fingers so that I can keep on working. Let's see. Love this technique as well. You can get different size bubbles. Yes, you can. You can get those great big fat bubbles. I mean, think about it, especially like if you're doing the whole card or something, if you wanted to have the great big bubbles. And you know what? I didn't have any of the bigger wrap, but that would have been fun to play with. Okay, let's clean up this one. So that was technique number 3. We're doing good. All right, we're gonna bring this one back. And you can still see the water under there. See it moving? But it has sat there enough that, so I'm gonna do this. I can pick this up and I can move it around, or I can blot it with my paper towel. But I kind of like the movement of that. Sometimes it'll be on the edge where you have that extra water. Watercolor paper, it doesn't absorb as much as, so, and don't use like basic white. You will be very disappointed. You could take even an aqua painter or water painter. What are those things called these days? Hold on, let me grab it. One of these things. And you can take and just kind of blend that out some if you want, just so you don't lose the color. But keep it abstract. Don't try to make it perfect. Okay? There we go. When it's dry, you stamp your fishing. Okay. Clean that off. All right. Let's do another one. Okay, how about some faux glass? Stampin' Up! Sells window sheets, or if you know how you get a new stamp set and it has the acrylic or the acetate sheet? Try that, use that. So I am using a red rubber stamp and it doesn't have it. Let's see if this one does. No. So for my card, I use Nature's Harvest and Dragonfly Garden, which I thought those two went really well together when I picked it up. I'm not going to show you my, well, yeah, I'm going to show you the card. Do you see my faux glass? You see my dragonfly? So fun. Y'all ready to do this? Okay, put that over there. And I need, so whenever you're stamping on acetate, slippery, or vellum, you need to use StazOn. StazOn is like a Sharpie, okay? It is going to work. The memento will not dry. This is a brand new pad. Whoops, I finally broke down and bought a new pad. Let me just show you my trick since we're teaching stuff tonight. I like to take that lid because I don't want to get my fingers inky every time I touch it. But you need to keep the lid. The lid acts as a seal to keep that ink pad dry, not from drying out. Let's see, did I get it? Nope. There we go. That's how you keep your lid. Okay. So I am going to be punching this out with the Dragonfly punch. And I always like to flip my punch over. Is my big dragonfly at the bottom or the top? You just want to kind of eyeball that. And then you'll know where you need to stamp. It may slip and slide a little bit because it's a slippery surface. Okay. That does take a hot minute to dry, so be a little bit patient. Made mini bubble wrap, small and large, turned out great, says Brenda. Yay! So y'all have done the bubble wrap. That's good to know. Okay, move this out of the way. So I am going to give this just a little drying help with my heat tool. Pretty good. Just trying to see if I see any shiny. So I'm actually going to flip it over and just test it. Yep, I'm good. Okay, so I like to color it. You could color it. You need to use Stampin' Blends. If you use Stampin' Right markers, you want to color last. I think I just used... I was thinking I used Daffodil Delight. So I have flipped it over, okay? And I'm just going to color my wings. And it's a very light color. I'm using the lighter version of Crumb Cake. I think on my other one though, I did use Daffodil Delight. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to be able to see some color through the wings. So this is faux glass. And I want to show something to you. How did I do my body? Oh, I did my body black. Gail says she is so going to watch the replay. I went ahead and grabbed my darker one too, because I have a feeling when I go to, yeah, let's do it with the darker. I want y'all to be able to see it on the camera. almost has a yellow hue to it. So maybe that's why I thought I did Daffodil Delight. I think my instructions say Daffodil Delight. It doesn't matter, guys. And you may not be even using the Dragonfly. You may be using another stamp when you're playing with this technique. But the Stampin' Blends are an alcohol-based, and they're going to allow, this is going to dry a lot faster. And I don't know about y'all, when you're making cards and playing, you want to hurry up and get to the next step. So this helps you get to the next step. Okay, so all colored, flip it over. I'm going to punch it out. Boy, that was absolutely perfectly stamped. I could not have gotten it any higher. Now this is hard because I am punching that window sheet with the little one up there. There we go. Got to get her out. Come on. Let me grab my snips. I don't want to turn loose. Okay, let's see how we did. Just got a little excess there. Stampin' Up! Used to sell these craft scissors. I sure do wish they'd bring them back because they would cut anything. They would cut wire. We used to trim our stamps. Can y'all imagine? The stamps did not come die cut. We had to do it ourselves. We had to cut them out. Okay, now this is going to take some time, so you guys chat amongst yourselves. Let's see, I want to use, you want to use something to hold it down. And then I'm going to heat this thing, and I hope that my hand doesn't get in the way. As it starts to do things, I'll hold my hand back. You want to start heating towards from the edges, about an inch or so. We're coming in from the sides. It's starting. It won't be long. Are y'all chatting? Okay, it's taking longer than it did when I made it the first time. There we go. Come on. I promise it doesn't. So it's not curling as much as my sample did. And what I was going to show y'all, where's my... So see how pliable this is? This is the window sheet. And then when it starts to get heated, it doesn't do that. So let me get my sample. So it's very stiff. So the longer you heat it, the more it's going to start taking off. And you could see when it was trying to do it, but it didn't want to continue with that curling motion. But I think you get the gist. You just need to be patient and heat it. But because I have so many more, I want to keep on going. But that is the faux glass, okay? It's very pretty, it's very fun. I mean, her little wings were starting to come up, but not quite as much as what I wanted it to do, like on this one. But I still call it a win because I still got that harder feeling, that glassy feeling on my dragonfly. So there you go, okay? Any questions? Your dragonfly keeps wanting to fly away. I know, he did not want to be heated. He wanted to just fly away, so yeah. But I love this technique, and I hope that you will give it a try. So I don't know. I don't know why he wouldn't curl up. Maybe it was the changing of the colors of the Stampin' Blends. I don't think so, because I was just heating the plastic. So, all right. Okay, what else do we have? Should have had one already heated. But, I mean, I did have one heated. Just... that one just didn't want to participate, didn't want to play along. Okay. Speaking of faux, that is a piece of tissue paper. We've played with bubble wrap, now we're playing with tissue paper. Yay. Can you heat in the oven, says Christine Wiseman. You know what? If I had a toaster oven, I'd go shove that in there. That's a great idea. Yeah, like the old Shrinky Dinks. Why not? Okay, for this next technique, this is called faux linen, and I just have wrapping paper, tissue paper, okay? Now, when you're doing this technique, the important thing is you don't want to have a bunch of wrinkles, okay? I was going to iron this out and use it, and I was like, nope, I want to point this out to them. When you're doing the faux linen technique, you do not want all these wrinkles. You want to have as smooth of a piece as you can when you're doing your stamping. I'm using Positive Thoughts and Very Versailles. I just mixed them up. Again, these techniques, you don't have to have the stamp sets that I have. Use what you have. I think I need a bigger table. Okay. I'm using Old Olive, Daffodil Delight, and Magenta Madness. And I am, oh, and Memento. Okay, so I'm going to use some Memento ink. I have the big scripty font from Very Versailles. I twist that because it's a habit. Somebody asked me that on one of the videos recently. I'm just going to stamp all over my tissue paper. I'm not worried. Oh, and you do want to start off with a piece of tissue paper that is larger than your cardstock layer, okay? Because you're going to trim it, but it's better to have it bigger. Hello, Marie. How are you? Vay says, I'm so organized. Girlfriend, I had stacks of stuff. I was so organized. And you know what? I started getting ready at 5 a.m. this morning. I'm telling you guys, I was so excited about today because I just think this is going to be so much of a great reference library for y'all. I love Magenta Madness. It's just so fun. It's a fun color. Stamp one down there. And then we're going to get, now I just re-inked my old olive, so it is probably going to be a little on the dark side, but we'll see. Let's do this. Oh yeah, it's dark, but that's okay. And then this. A little over there. And then I have the butterfly from, what is that stamp set? Positive Thoughts. So we're just doing a collage, just stamping wherever we want. Oh, we need another pink. Okay. Kind of need to let it dry. Okay, we're going to kind of wave it around a little bit so that we get it all good and dry. We're going to close up our stamp pads because something will get in it if I don't, like my elbow. If y'all are just now joining us, we are doing 10 techniques tonight that can be used for card making, scrapbooking, all around crafty projects. Okay, how are we doing? Looking pretty good. Y'all ready? You're just going to ball this up really, really tight. Isn't that crazy? We did all that pretty stamping. And then we have our, what is that thing called? Silicone sheet. I have a piece of basic white cardstock. And I have a grand dog in here who just knocked something off my organized table. What is that paper again? This paper, this is basic white. This is just plain tissue paper that you stuff in your gift bags, you know, when you're wrapping presents. Tissue paper. Just tissue paper. And you know, it comes folded in a little pack, so you can take an iron and put a cloth over it and iron out those wrinkles. You just don't want the wrinkles when you're stamping. Here I have all these wrinkles now. You just don't want the wrinkles when you're stamping because it just won't stamp your image good. Give a thumbs up. Gave a thumbs up already so I don't forget from enjoying all your crafty goodness. Aw, thank you. So it is called Faux Linen, and we're using tissue paper that we would use for gift wrapping, stuffing in those gift bags. Okay, so one time I had somebody ask me if I ever used this end of the liquid glue. It's a great time to use it. I want to cover my whole surface, so I'm squeezing out some glue. And I'm just covering the whole thing with a thin layer. Try not to get it too blobby. Did y'all know the other end came off? Oh gosh. I always use the other end, and I think most of us do. But the liquid glue, the mono liquid glue, has two tips. So we just want to cover that whole piece. with the liquid glue, really catching those ends. And the paper's starting to curl. There we go. I bet you could use different color tissue paper. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so now we're going to take this and we're going to place it, tapping it down onto our gluey cardstock. Peel that off. Give it a good back rub. Let's do another silicone mat. Woo, look at all those thumbs and hearts from Mary Yates. Thank you. You guys are enjoying this? Has anybody seen the faux linen? Okay, where's our crafty scissors again? And you know what's so great? You don't know which side I stamped on. They're both about the same brilliant color. Then we're just going to take our scissors and follow the edge. Whoops. Or the other option is to maybe just trim it down. So this could be two ways. Just in case maybe you didn't get that glue all the way to the edge. I know I did, but if you want like a double check measure, just leave it like that. Add some liquid glue. Mowgli, knock it off. My grand dog is literally underneath my feet. And then just wrap it around. And then that way you don't have to think, oh, did I get enough glue? Is it gonna lift up when I start putting my card together? Things like that. You don't have to worry. So two different ways. I didn't get quite enough there, but, and we have glue on our fingers. Hey, we're in a crafty mood tonight for sure, guys, with all these techniques. Okay. My finger stuck to it. All right, can you see the texture? Can you see that linen look texture? Oh, I hope so. There we go. There's a good shot. Okay, let me show you my card. First, I need a little bit of hand sanitizer. Get some of that glue off. So it gets ink off and glue off. May we add to your repertoire if you haven't done so already. Recently, I sent presents and used the tissue paper, gold and silver, heat embossed. Oh yeah, absolutely. That would be gorgeous. You can certainly stamp and heat emboss on there. Absolutely. All right, let me show you my card. Let that background do all the work for you. Put a small sentiment on there and that card is ready. Friends like you mean more every year. Perfect. Okay, faux linen. All right, what else? What else? Oh my gosh, I still have 3. Do I have 3 more? I have 4 more. We're gonna be here all night. Okay, so we're gonna speed it up just a little bit. I want that over here, over here. I have, I'm using Forever Fern. That was that stamp set. And I'm using a craft white ink pad and shaded spruce. I have just a piece of shaded spruce here. And I'm going to stamp first with the white craft ink pad. Aw, thank you, Heidi. I'm so glad you loved it. It's so different, isn't it? And these are all techniques that I've known for years, but we tend to forget things. All right, so I'm gonna stamp that there. And then I'm gonna stamp here. Again, doesn't matter what stamp sets, doesn't matter. You can do this too with, and I think I have a sample of that. Did I get that for y'all? you don't have to use the white craft. You could use a dark ink and a light ink. So a dark green and a light green, okay? All right, we're gonna close this up. And I need to clean my stamps. Now, because I can use my chamois, but let me show you what else I do. So I'm gonna grab my chamois, and I'm gonna wipe this off. But because I am inking this up into another color of ink pad, my shaded spruce, I really need to get all of that white off, and so my chamois may not get it all. So what I like to do, totally awesome, yay Carol. I have an old rag, you know, we all have them in our studio. I'm just spritzing the Stampin' Mist, and I'm gonna just really go along those edges and get all of that white ink off, because I don't want the white ink in my green ink pad, okay? I could have taken it to my Stampin' Scrub, but I don't want all the white ink on my Stampin' Scrub either. I could have probably used some baby wipes that are in Baylor's room, but this is just as quick and easy, and my stamps are really dry for me to do the next step. Okay, let's bring this back in. And now I'm going to take Shaded Spruce. I'm going to ink up my stamp. And because my camera is above my head, let's see how I do. So I'm hovering over the original image, and because this is a red rubber stamp, it is harder. So if you prefer playing with this technique with photopolymer stamps, by all means, but I'm hovered over it, and I'm just gonna go slightly off, just slightly. And the same thing again, hover over, slightly off. Hover, slightly off. My brain can't handle all this. So glad that the PDFs are going to be available. This is called shadow stamping. Can you see the shadow of the leaves? Shadow stamping. Okay, let me show you my card. What a pretty wedding card. You don't know what their colors are, just go with something neutral and do some shadow stamping. Okay, that's another technique. What was the technique called? I run a brayer over the back of the card. It is a cool shadow effect, isn't it? All right, I am making a mess, but here we go. Oh my gosh, maybe we should have only done 5 techniques. Okay, big Post-it note. Tear big Post-it note where you have waves and designs. Look what I use for holding my blending brushes. It's a toothbrush holder. You're welcome. Where is Daffodil Delight? My brain is on overload with so many techniques. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make y'all be on overload. All right. We're just going to mask this off. We're going to take our blending brush, and we're just going to color and color. Now remember, we, whoops, I got a little bit too much there, so we got to blend it some more. We tore that. Oh, I've got a big blob. Now I got to get really really into there and blend that in. It's going to be very Daffodil Delight. Okay, so remember how we tore this and tore this? So this matches up to here, okay? So we want to come down. I'm not going to do as many layers on this because we are getting late. And then I'm going to put this up here to kind of cover that piece. I'm going to grab another one and I'm going to go with Melon Mambo. And so I'm using my Post-it notes and my blending brushes as a blending background. I am really dark. I've got a heavy hand tonight. Must be my excitement. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Let's fix this. We just got to have some dark, all dark. Pick lighter colors and try not to talk to, you know, how many people are on? 400 people while you're doing this. Okay. So we're just going to cover up the whole thing like that until your card looks like this. Just by moving those Post-it notes and masking off, because we've torn them so they all match, you just have to kind of turn it around. But this is the blending background with Post-it notes. Does it have another name? I have no idea. Some of these techniques, I don't know. I didn't want to call it masking because masking is another technique that is different. But we are masking in a way, but we are using the Post-it notes and the blending brushes. If you don't have the blending brushes, you could use sponges, you could use sponge daubers, just the same effect to give you that scene look that you wanted. So I was trying to look for like a beautiful sunset, okay? All right, so that's that one. Gorgeous grape. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous. Gorgeous grape would have been my next one. Oh my, I am really running out of room. This desk got smaller on me, guys. Okay, whoops. That got in the bleach. Okay. Big stamp from the Daisy Garden. And I'm going to, oh, I did have two pieces. Okay. I'm going to ink this up. This is a very big stamp. Oh, y'all like that technique. I don't mean to rush, but I think you got the gist. But I still have one, two, I think I have 3 more to show you. I've lost count. I have no idea. All right, so we're gonna stamp just on basic white. This is such a big stamp. I changed my mind. We're gonna do some upside down stamping. Really giving that a good back rub. Protect your fingers. I even like to take it and do this if you have finger challenges, you know, like sometimes those hands get a little arthritic, but this bone on your arm, great pressure, great pressure. All right, so we have stamped, and now we're gonna do it again. Excuse me. Come on. Do it again. I've not stamped in a while. I I see some card making this weekend. Yay! I'm so glad I've inspired you. Get out those stamps and play. Okay, so we've done it twice. I took previously and I die cut this with the Layering Circles dies. Whoops, stuck to my sticky fingers, imagine that. I'm just gonna quickly do some coloring. I am using the Stampin' Blends because I use the Memento. If you want to use your Stampin' Right markers, use Stays On Black with the water-based markers. I have no idea what just stuck to my elbow. All right, come on, let's turn. You know I talk a lot, but I've been talking for an hour, guys. I was hoping that I'd be done. I mean, I hope that y'all enjoy this. I hope that I'm like not boring you and you're like, oh, is she almost done? I just think I love techniques and they can be used so many different ways, but we forget about them. Like some of those that are on my list, they're old but goodies. Well, the faux linen and the faux glass. There's some other faux things that I have up my sleeve for later on. I will tell you that Stampin' Up's, it's like their online convention, it's called Backstage, is going to be in November, which is the night that I scheduled to do my next technique. So that one is going to be recorded and it will be a premiere because I will be out of town for that event. I'm actually going with the Creative 8 team and we're going to watch it together. So, but the premiere, you guys loved that last week. So I think it's going to be just the same. And it may not take as long because it will be pre-recorded and maybe I can speed it up just a little bit so that, you know, you're not waiting for me to gather my supplies and put them in front of the camera, things like that. Barbie says her dog is snoring. I'm waiting for my grand dog to snore. He is literally, I have to step over him to get to the table to get my next project to share. He loves to be by his Mimi. Okay, we're almost done. Just a little coloring. Whoops, okay. We're gonna do some yellow. Now, what is this technique called? Can anybody guess? This one's been around for a while, but it's still one of those popular ones that you do still see. Heidi says, oh, that'll be nice for the 4 of you gals. Ah, I know. I'm so excited to be with them. And, you know, COVID has changed our world, right? And, you know, we used to travel and be together at these Stampin' Up events. And now we can't, so we just decided to do it ourselves. This is called spotlighting. And so what you want to do is you want to match up. And I think I came all the way up here and I kind of turned it. So I'm matching up with this flower here. Let me pick this up. You see how I'm doing that? And so that I'm matching here and I'm kind of matching there. Let me turn it. So you just kind of keep playing. If you wanted to, you could do another area and have 2. Okay, this is called spotlighting. Here's my version. You know, something like the Daisy Garden, you're like, oh, that's a lot of coloring. That is the most perfect stamp set for spotlighting, in my opinion. So whether you choose to just spotlight one thing or two things, spotlighting is a fun technique. Looks like a painting with masa paper. Oh, masa paper. What is masa paper? All right, so that is spotlighting. I really have a mess here, guys. I was so organized to begin with. All right, what else do we have? Can't pick it up. We have vellum. This paper has seen better days, hasn't it? We have vellum, and we have, y'all like the circles. I'm so glad. We're going to bring back in our peony. And I did do better about preparing for this one. I'm just going to stamp it right here, really pressing down. This is a brand new StazOn, but remember, it might slip on you, so be careful. Hold that vellum, lift it up. Boy, you can really tell that better stamp pad. So again, that needs to dry. So I already have one ready for us. And I need the paper piercing mat. I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, the ball part, and I'm just going to color my flower on the back side. This is called dry embossed vellum. And you will see what happens when I flip it over. So when I was doing this with my team meeting, Deborah Vanderberg, are you still on here, girlfriend? They were great. They're like, oh, what about if you add Wink Costella? Or what about if you, the new shimmery vellum in colors, the new in colors that are the shimmery vellum. So I did give that a try, and I'm going to share that with y'all. I have some samples done. So vellum, I think, is one of those materials that is kind of overlooked in the catalog, or maybe we don't know what to do with it sometimes, but it's a fun one. It's a fun paper. Our cardstock is, this is vellum cardstock. We used to have vellum paper, but we haven't had that in years. The vellum cardstock is thick, but if you'll notice, I'm going in little circles, okay? This kind of gives you the pressure that you need without poking a hole in the vellum, okay? So I'm pressing pretty hard, but I'm also going in circles instead of just like this. I do have to do it back and forth on those leaves, but for my bigger areas, I am doing little circles. So maybe next month I should only do 5 techniques. What do y'all think? Is 10 too much? 10 takes a long time. Over an hour so far. I think I'm almost done. Has anybody been counting? How many have I done? Do you clean stamps that you use with StazOn the same way? Okay. Great question. You need the StazOn cleaner to clean that stamp. Where'd my stamp go? Before I reveal mine. This is a brand new bottle. I take and squeeze that bottle and let that sit do its thing, and then I wipe it with a paper towel. I'll set that aside. But you do need the StazOn cleaner to clean off the StazOn. Great question. Okay, y'all ready? All right, I need a piece of colored cardstock. Where's some colored cardstock? All right, let me show you. I'm on number 9. Okay, so that is without doing the stylus on the back, okay? That's just stamped. Can you see the difference? Look at the white. All right, let's do this. Well, that's not good because you can see the yellow through it. But can y'all see the white? Look at that. Look what that does to that vellum. Isn't that gorgeous? No, 10 is great, and we don't mind over an hour. Okay, okay. All right, let me show you my card. Okay, so you can really see the white. Let me get the one that doesn't. So see the difference? Oh, that's really hard. But the white really pops. This is called dry embossed vellum. Okay. All right, what happens if you do it on the shimmer pit? No, what happens if you use Wink of Stella and you color the back? Did the same thing, use the stylus. This is all raised, so it's like embossed, okay? So it's very, very textured. And then we put Wink of Stella on it. Can't see, there we go, okay? What if you do the in colors? So it just made it more pink. It just made it more green. I sure hope y'all can tell. How about the lighter green? And then here is the fuchsia, fresh freesia. Can y'all see the white? It's so pretty. So vellum. Take a second look at vellum. It's a lot of fun. Okay, we got one more to do. This needs a paper towel. Love this. I have that stamp set, so I have to try this. I think it would be great on snowmen and snowflakes for Christmas. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so then I will take this to my chamois and finish cleaning it up. Okay, we'll do that later. Okay, one more. Mowgli bud, you're in my way. Whoops, don't stand up. Let's pull out some ink refills and a clear block, more watercolor paper, my aqua painters, anything I want to get this wet. Now these water painters are a little bit different. Oh, that is very wet. Oh, did not realize that. There's 3 different sizes. So I'm just going to get this wet. Oh, that's not wet enough. So to get more water out, I'm going to turn the barrel. It's leaking out the top. And I'm going to drip some water. Y'all probably couldn't see that. Okay. And I'm going to put an ink refill, little drop there. That's Gorgeous Grape, Bermuda Bay. Yeah, Bermuda Bay. And then I'm going to take one of the finer tipped ones. We're going to add some water to that. Got a lot of water. Kind of thinning that down a little bit. And then I'm just going to touch, and just let the water do the work. And then if I don't think I have enough water, I just kind of spritz. We just want as much water on there as we can get. Now, you can let this completely dry before you do the second color. I've done it both ways. I like it when the colors blend together, but I am rubbing this so much that I don't have a big pool of water. I mean, it's wet, you can see, but I don't have like a great big soppy pool of it. So I'm gonna step over and do to the next color because I need to find my water first of all. I need to get that wet. You sit right there. Squeezing, getting water out. If you don't water this down, it's gonna be, when it hits that cardstock, it's almost just too dark. It's like you just dropped the ink refill right on there. But this is called a watercolor wash. You can see how I'm just washing it across. And I like how the colors blend together, but some people don't, so it's your choice. If you want to let this gorgeous grape dry completely, you could. I see I have a little runaway over here. We don't want it to run off. So that is that. I'm going to just carefully take care of that other way. And let me show you my cards. I did one darker. When you are doing, okay, so I stamped on watercolor paper, and my tip for you in the PDF, Techniques PDF, is you want a bold greeting stamp when you are stamping on watercolor paper. I was okay with the butterfly because there's enough detail here, but if your words are not bold enough, you could lose because of the texture of the watercolor paper. So that's one of them. Is it regular cardstock you're using? Nope, it was watercolor paper. It is the Fluid 100 watercolor paper that is on my website that Stampin' Up! Sells. You could use shimmery white cardstock, but don't use basic white at all, or very vanilla, because it's not good. So that, I had, now that I've cleaned up my mess here, but you have a lot of ink. So just keep making them and come up with a softer color as your ink gets more gone. As you use up your ink, just keep making some. Just keep, playing with the ink that you have left over. So watercolor wash. Oh boy, we are done. I am done. Where is my water? Oh my gosh. Timestamps would be great for all future videos. Okay, let's flip this around. Timestamp is perfect for the video, and it will have it on videos. I wanted to bring this first technique class to you live because I was so excited and I wanted to bring it to you live. But I think all future ones, I know all future ones are going to be recorded, and I can put the timestamp, and I can also put that timestamp on that PDF on the video at 10 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever. It will be this technique. I would love to think that between now and when the Creative 8 retreat starts tomorrow night, I would have time to take this video, this live, and do the same thing in the comment section. I will do my best to get that done, but I can't promise that. So if you're watching the replay, I'm sorry, but for those of you who do decide to either purchase the tutorial or purchase $50 before tax and shipping on my website to get it for free, then surely next week I can do it. Oh, Karen says, I could watch your ideas all night. Aw, thank you. I felt like I was taking up too much of your time. Okay, so I'm seeing that you guys enjoyed it. Some of you have never heard of some of them or seen them. And that was my thought. Some of them you have, some of them you haven't. But there's so many out there, guys. I have that list, and I'm sure I'm still going to keep looking for more. But anyway, I appreciate you. Yeah, y'all are going to have to watch the replay, take notes. So whoever watches the replay, send me the timestamps, and I'll edit the description of the video. Y'all help me out, and I'll help out the rest of you. I'm just saying, I just don't think I can. I won't have an hour and a half between now and the weekend to watch this again. So, okay, so Nancy is saying, so you're not going to do these techniques live in the future? Do you prefer I do them live? I know the one in November will have to be recorded. You guys tell me below the video, leave a comment, live or recorded for the techniques. You tell me. I'll do it either way, but for sure in November it will be recorded. By the way, I forgot to mention, Patricia Redinger is on here, and she is an amazing person. She shared how she decorated the front of her technique book with a card, a gorgeous card. I was like, oh, girlfriend, I gotta fix my book. Mine looks plain. Heidi says, fantastic techniques. Thank you. Sandra says, these techniques seem to be with cling rubber stamps, but they can be done with photopolymer stamps as well. Yes, yes. I just happened, and you know what? I had my piercing mat because I really thought I had some photopolymer. I have photopolymer stamps, but I thought some of my techniques use those. But yeah, you can use your photopolymer. The only precaution I have said, and that's with it, whether you're using the red rubber cling or the photopolymer, when you're using that bleach, get it off. Now, there is a thing with stays on photopolymer and stays on remover. They say don't do it. I do it. And then I go wash the stamp really fast. So keep that in mind. Michelle says, by request from Renee, Cards for Kids is going on right now. Yes, I mentioned that at the beginning. Cards for Kids will be on my blog once I get over there and finish everything that's for tonight will be live. I said 8:30. You're going to have to give me more time because so 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Central, everything will be on my blog. Able to purchase the tutorials, able to see the blog post with all the information, and the Cards for Kids will be on that blog post. Won't be on that blog post. Click on shop where my tutorials are, and you will see the tutorial for Cards for Kids that you need to follow the rules, the guidelines. I don't want to say rules, that sounds pretty strict, but we have guidelines that we have to go by. There is time frames when those cards are due to Renee, and I believe it's November 21st, so that she doesn't have to deal with any of the card sorting before the holidays, before Thanksgiving. So there you go. Let them know it is a great way to practice these techniques. There you go. Renee said Cards for Kids is a great way to practice these techniques. I don't want you to just watch this video and maybe buy the tutorial or get the tutorial for free and not play with these techniques, guys. They're fun. They're fun. If you play with them, post them on Facebook, post them on the Sharon Stamping Friends or my business page. I want to see that you're playing with these techniques. So there you go. So Deborah Vandenberg, emerging color is for another time. Emerging color did not happen this time. Yeah, it didn't happen. Emerging color is on the list. It'll be there. Let's see. Heidi says, I do the same, Sharon, because I don't feel or smell of, I don't like the feel or smell of Stays On Cleaner. I use it, but I wash all my stamps with mild soapy water and rinse. Good choice. You know, give those stamps a bath. Put them in this. I give all the blocks and stamps. I put them in the sink with Dawn dish soap and wash them off. Doesn't hurt them. You're talking about the bleaching. I give a triple A+++. Great fun and great techniques. I'm happy I entertained y'all for this evening. For my mystery stampers, I'll see you on Monday. Give me 30 minutes, 9 p.m. Central. Go to my blog, get the information. If you want to purchase the tutorial or what, just read my blog and then shop to get the information for cards for kids, or it is on both of the Facebook pages. I don't know if I can put it on my business page. Megan Justice has timestamps for me. Yay! Megan Justice is my buddy. She is like Michelle, Megan Justice, are you on here watching me? Megan is my other assistant. She is my, seriously, she helps me with so much of this technical stuff, and love my Megan Justice. If you're in Australia, you can't place a Stampin' Up order with me, Kim, but you can order the tutorials. Absolutely, you can order those. So give me 30 minutes and I'll have everything ready to go for you guys. Happy